Yo,
Jawohl,
what is up,
Dankeschön.
ladies and gentlemen? It is me,
Komm, es
Alex the
regnet.
G,
Rein da.
and we are back here
Yes.
on the YouTube channel, actually,
Nicht.
the first time
Ich
in
dachte schon, ey, es war so
quite a
bewölkt.
while.
Ja, aber
And this is
Ja?
the FEL event, so Formula European League around Monza. It's round 2 of this championship,
So,
and we have just come off the back of round 1, where I've been taking part for NLR in the McLaren car alongside my teammate Russell.
war ich einfach.
And unfortunately, I had a mistake or something, just an incident with AlphaTauri late in the race, which dropped me out of P4.
Ich hatte halt echt irgendwie
And we are looking to bounce back and get some more good points for NLR. So as you can see, it is a dry qualifying session, though it's overcast, it is dry, and so no weather concerns either for the race, and we head out onto the track for the first time in this qualifying session. So you catch me here at the end of my first lap. It is CBA Pyro who's gone fastest on the medium compound with a 120.8, but as we head towards Parabolica, we are looking to beat that on the soft compound tyre, and as you can see, we quite conveniently do so with a 20.0,
20-0, Alter.
and that is provisional pole for that moment. Although it's not going to stand for very long,
0 habe ich im Training
but 120.0 definitely a solid banker,
Okay.
considering the confidence around Monza was not brilliant. As now you join me actually for what will be my fastest lap of qualifying. And yeah, through Parabolica, it's a good exit through here. You have to take a long sort of outside line to get the most possible momentum onto this straight. You can see I didn't do that perfectly, being about 300ths down, but into turn 1, brake about 100 meters away from the turn, missing the apex just a little bit. You can see that in the delta. I've been over a 10th down there, so that's not the best start of the lap. And yeah, we're looking to make up some time on the rest of the lap for sure. Curva Grande, of course, flat, nothing really to see here. And then into Variante della Roggia. We get the first apex very well, second one as well, and then on the exit we pick up a tiny bit of grass, but that's alright. We have gained back a lot of time here. First Lesmo, it's a really good run actually, onto that exit curve, and second Lesmo as well. And now we've got our teammate Russell actually helping me out as well, with a big slipstream down this straight, down this back straight into Ascari. And you can see on the delta how much that's going to gain me. It's a purple middle sector, and that's been timed really to perfection. Ascari, very decent run actually for my standards as well. And down this final back straight, there's only Parabolica now left to go. Currently in P6, of course, Boombia is 4th with the 119.9, that's the lap time I can see. But we are currently well over 2/10 up. In fact, it's going to go up to 3/10 as we go to Parabolica. And it is going to be a very good lap. Provisional pole, in fact, with a 119.706. A really, really good lap for my standards. It's the 19.4 I've done in time trial. So that is actually a really good lap for myself, and we're going to see just a little bit of that last lap to fill you in on what happened in qualifying. Getting that turn 1 apex down actually really well, but the second one maybe got a little too much, but still you can see 6/100ths of a second up on that run in turn 1. And so turn 3, Curva Grande of course still flat, and it is not the best first sector I've done, but still considerably faster. But yeah, here we hit just that tiny sausage curve which has lost us all the time. Getting onto grass on the exit as well, which has lost us a lot of grip on the left side, and we have lost just all the time there. A 10th down as we head into the second Lesmo. We actually get a really good run through there, but yeah, missed the DRS just a touch and couldn't really improve us. Right now, of course, the missing slipstream is going to cost me the time again. A 10th down into the middle sector split. Ascari also not brilliant because we got onto that curve a little too much. And you can see, yeah, 1.5 tenths down as we head to Parabolica. It's not going to be anything unless I pull an absolute stonker of a final corner here. And yeah, as you can see, that's not happened. And we will finish the lap about 2/10 shy of our personal best and stay in P3 provisionally. But as you can see, it's my teammate Russell still coming, who pips me for 3rd, and in the end that is actually going to become P5 in the standings, as Relentless P's actually got pole from DJ Gill for by 12 thousandths of a second. Pyro 3rd, with then the 2 NLR drivers following suit, Russell ahead of myself in P5. So onto the formation lap. Monza is of course a one-stop strategy, soft to medium, but you never know, of course, with all sorts of factors coming into this one, safety cars and whatnot. But on the end of this formation lap, that picture gets a lot clearer. Of course, I actually have a pretty solid tyre wear because I have had my in-lap myself as I did it on the second run. However, now it is time for the 5 red lights to come on and to start this Italian Grand Prix here in FEL. It's lights out and away we go. It's actually a pretty solid start for myself, but Russell gets away to a flyer and gets almost alongside DJ Gill in second. Straight past Pyro. I brake early, but there's relentless Ferg braking way too late. And I hit him a little bit. Luckily, actually, I got away with no damage, but it did lose the place to Boompia. And I'm now down into P6 and still under a threat from Exo's Jaco in the Haas. But I am now on the outside for Variante Del Roger, but I keep myself ahead by braking late, so I'm still in P6 in this Grand Prix. However, I did of course lose that one position. I think right now it's Relentless P's in the lead. Then we have Abora's DJ Gill. Russell, my teammate, is third. Pyro's fourth, with IRT Boompia in fifth, and then of course it's myself for McLaren. So it's not the perfect start to the race, but I can still work from here. As a DRS train in Monza, of course, is going to be very, very likely and very actually important to keep myself in if I want to have any chance of staying on that front group. As you see right now, P8 actually already gets a 3-second penalty after just 2 sectors in this race. Yeah, what actually did suit my driving style in this race was the 50% brake bias, because I have figured that the rear locking, sort of rotating the rear into the corner, actually really suited my driving style, and it actually worked around Monza really well. Except around Parabolica there, that last time, that didn't quite seem to happen just yet.
Oh,
however, we got that a lot better, as there we go, it's Pyro spinning and just losing all those positions again, and we're back up to P5. Effectively, we just lost the place to Boompia now. But CPI Pyro straight away with a mistake promotes us into the top 5. However, that has increased the gap from Russell to Boompia, meaning that we'll probably now have to use a lot of ERS to keep ourselves in Boompia's DRS. However, some very strong runs here through the Lesmos. They definitely really will salvage this for us. 7/10 is the gap to Boompia, but he himself is about a second away from Russell, so we'll have to keep pressing a DRS, the ERS himself, to have any chance to stay in that leading fight himself. So it's really, yeah, it's a really strategic play here with the ERS around Monza. But yeah, you can see Parabolica, that one worked much better. And around 8/10 is the gap right now. We're still using some deploy. We're already under 50%. That's just how much we're using. 122.3 for us as the DRS gets enabled. And you can see we are within 7/10 of a second. So we will make it if we just stay clean all the way towards the Lesmo. As that is where the first DRS detection point of the race is going to be. And of course down towards Ascari, the chicane. It is an overtaking point if you're not exactly stuck in a DRS train, which unfortunately we probably will be. It's just the nature of Monza, really. But yeah, that's what you have to expect on this track. It is DRS is just very OP on this track, so you have to definitely keep that one in mind. Still holding our own quite well though against Excel's J. Cole. P7, DR8 Davies also still holding on to this DRS train, although he does have his 3-second penalty. So that's definitely gonna hinder him in the rest of this Grand Prix, especially having it so early on as well. Everybody will be aware of it. While of course we haven't got a warning yet, only 3 laps in. There aren't really many spots now with the curve patch where you can actually get warnings. I believe, realistically, it's the exit of the first Lesmo, the exit of the second Lesmo, and maybe cutting Ascari, as well as the exit of Ascari, actually. That's where you can really get warnings, the most likely. However, However, that is, yeah, it's not something I was obviously looking to do. So now we head on to the start of lap 6, as we stayed on board with the car for the first 3 or so laps, just lap 4, the start of it as well. So now we're into lap 6. See, nothing has really changed on our front. We're still running 5th in this big DRS train. And yeah, into the Variante della Roggia. There is an incident on the track, however, that is just Jeff. I mean, it's probably calling BS right now. Into the first Lesmo. Out of that again, he says it's a yellow flag, but that is again just BS from him. However, you can see just in the background there is a spinner and a yellow flag definitely behind us, and you will see in a moment that does bring out the safety car. CPI Pyro is out of the race, and that definitely puts us in a pickle if you look at it strategically, because NLR McLaren are the only team with 2 cars up there. So now I'm gonna have to slow down a lot here ahead of Excel's J. Cole to not get held up by the stack too much, because I will have to make that pit stop onto mediums, and we will see in just a moment how well that worked out for me. We got very lucky with the stack there. 3.2 second pit stop, and yeah, we actually got really lucky with the stack. Just about timed it to perfection, and you can see top left we stay in P5, so it was actually a really good job on the timing. Got that pretty much to perfection. And out of the pits, provided there is no more safety car intervention, we will run to the end of the race on this set of tires. End of lap 8, and we are gonna head on to the restart of the safety car, bringing those fronts up to temperature. The rears, of course, after the last patch, it's really difficult to keep them up to temps, because you can't do burnouts at the safety car restart point, which I find really annoying, to be honest. But it's what it is now. Just gonna wait for this race to restart now. The start of lap 9 it is gonna be. It is EVG DJ Gill in the lead, and you can see we missed the restart a little bit compared to Boompia at least. But behind us is really where the action is going to come out, with Excel's J. Cole, Robbie, as well as Ragnar, all 3 wide. And now we're going to brake pretty late, but it's actually Boompia braking super early, which promotes us to almost recreate the Verstappen-Hamilton situation here in Monza. We end up on his outside. We're actually still alongside and ahead right now. And we will be on the inside into Variante della Roggia. Can we maybe keep this position and actually slot ourselves behind teammate Ross? So I can't brake late enough, I don't think. A little bit of contact is made, but it's pretty inevitable around this chicane. So at least we have cost Boompia a little bit of time here, but we just about couldn't make that overtake. However, of course, that could pose a little bit detrimental for our race, because Boompia is not very likely to get the DRS back from Russell. However, for myself at least, lap 11, 7 temps down on Boompia, so we will get the DRS from him. However, he will not have the DRS from Russell in P3, and he's going to pretty much be on his own right now, fighting DJ Gill for Evora and Relentless's P's, I believe it is. I've got a bit of a dry throat. I'm not really sure why that is, because I've been drinking a lot today, but yeah. Boompia, of course, he actually did clip the gravel there a little bit. I could see that in the time gain that I made, but first Lesmo, I don't know, I had some very good runs to the first Lesmo. The second one as well, to be fair, but the first one I definitely rated myself more. So yeah, staying in the DRS, definitely very crucial to at least have a shot at P4 in this Italian Grand Prix. And now through his car we see DR8 Davey is retired from the session, so there's been an accident and there is another full course yellow. What is this going to be then? What will happen in this Grand Prix? There's another safety car. However, lap 11 it is still too early to pit for the soft tyres, so they're actually going to jump right to the end of that safety car, as not really much has changed, still running 5th. However, some people did head into the pit lane for those soft tyres, which I thought it was honestly too early for them. They will drop off towards the end, was my opinion, was also Russell's opinion, as I was chatting with him in the party. Now on the restart, can we get a better restart this time? It's DJ Gill in the lead this time from Relentless Peace, and now I do get a better restart compared to Boompia. and I'm pressing overtake big time here to maybe try and make an overtake into the first corner of this race. And can we make that one work? We brake late, very late. In fact, we nearly run into Russell. Very close that one. We banged wheels with Boompia. But then on the exit we get some pretty good traction. He actually hit me onto the grass. However, right now we are ahead. He just got a bit too eager on the throttle out of turn 2, but we are currently ahead and still pressing the overtake button to defend from Boompia. We're going to be on the inside, braking really late into Variante della Roccia and keeping P4 this time. Very good move, if I may say so myself. And that was crucial, because now we can maybe get onto this top 3 and try and profit from anything that happens with them. However, we will have to press that ERS a lot to stay with these guys, because Russell himself has to press ERS too, as he's pretty much about to say. But it's a pretty good balance here, that we have to press ERS to stay really in each other's DRS range for later on. However, right now we are really pushing big time. You can see Boompia behind is losing time. I did reach out to him after the race, and yeah, it looks like he got damage from that being too eager on the throttle and hitting my side pod, so that's very unfortunate for him. However, in my case, I was quite fond of that one, because we were gaining time on him and also on the guys behind, meaning that they didn't pose as much a threat as before, and we were still looking to stay on the back of these 3. 1.1 seconds is the gap right now. Didn't get the best run through the first apex here in turn 1. But we still have to push on hard to stay with these guys, pressing a lot of overtake to try and just stay with my teammate. However, of course, chatting with him is a big help. And maybe we can do something here to stay in this together. Right now we're the only team with 2 cars in the top 4. However, looking at Relentless, they do have a car in 2nd and 5th as well, but we are the only team with NLR here that has both cars in the lead DRS train. Relentless Ferg would have to really push a lot right now to actually get into this train, as he's 1.5 seconds down on us right now. But yeah, some good runs through his car. Lap 15 it is right now. Russell makes a little mistake here, which, I mean, it is not good for him, not good for us really, but it is good for me in the end, because I can now safely really assure myself of this DRS spot I have in the train. And as we head on to the start of lap 16, where DRS is enabled, you can see the gap is 7 tenths, and we are pretty safely going to make that, even though we're really low on battery. As long as we are in that DRS train, it is going to be very, very handy for us to get away from Berg. From Excel's Jayco is actually making the move for Boompia right now, as yeah, he is struggling a lot with his wing damage. But it's looking like a really strong race right now for NLR, running 3rd and 4th, and on for a very good team result in this Italian Grand Prix. Currently 1.7 seconds to Relentless Ferg, so he's not going to pose a threat to us either. But right now, 9 tenths again is the gap to Russell. I think we're going to keep this one 0.967, 968, but a good run through the first Desmond. Here actually Russell lifts off as well for me to get that DRS, which is brilliant teamwork from him. So thank you very much for that one, Russell. And that is definitely going to keep us in the hunt for the top 3. And of course having us a little small chance of that podium as well, because being 4th in the DRS train, I'm pretty much tail ending the DRS train right now, but it is still crucial to be in this DRS train at all. As look at the gap to Relentless Ferg, it's up to 2.1 seconds. It's only going to get bigger as long as he stays in that 5th place. However, jumping to the start of lap 19, you can see CPA Robbie has actually made it up into P5 on the soft compound tires, and right now Russell is actually trying to go for a move here, because he did save up quite some ERS for a surprise move. He ends up on the inside of DJ Gill. We get really close to the back of our teammate there, and the fight between the top 3, really top 4 in the end, is spicing up a little bit. I'm definitely holding a bit of a gap of respect to these 3, because I don't want anything too bad to happen to my race. It didn't really feel like I had the pace to challenge these 3, so I sort of stuck behind them, kept it in the DRS train, and just, yeah, really looked what happened. But we have to keep an eye on CPA Robbie as well, because he was still going to be very fast in that new soft tire that he put on under the safety car. The second safety car, that is.
Ja,
And
stimmt.
so now
Robbie
down
20
this second
Sekunden hinter
straight, there aren't really gonna be moves happening. It's not a big overtaking zone as Kari, so we head on to the start of lap 20, where Russell does the same thing again compared to the last lap. We keep back again a little bit. About 35% of VRS for us. We don't have a lot to play with, but it's actually still not too bad. We did save up a little bit. However, the top two going side by side doesn't allow Russell really to go for an overtake there. However, their fighting has promoted him to go for the position on Relentless Peace. And this is going to get very feisty into Curva Grande and the subsequent braking zone, Variante della Roggia. We still stick back again in that little respect gap. However, Russell makes contact. It goes over the sausage curb. We have to slow down there to not run into it, but he goes. And now I've lost DRS to Relentless Peace. Of course, it's a big shame that Russell was spun out there. Not really sure whose fault that was, but for now we have to focus on our race. We're gonna have to try and get back into the DRS because that braking maneuver has promoted CPA Robbie first of all into 4th and also into my DRS range. So that means we're gonna have to press all our overtake again. So I'm actually really glad that I saved it up. We actually get a great run through Ascari right now, as you can see. Really, really good. And we are now within 9/10 of a second, still deploying most of the ERS that we've got to just ensure we will stay in the DRS to start lap 21, as that will keep me ahead of Robbie, quite likely. And as you can see, we have done that successfully. 7/10 is the gap to Relentless Peace, and it's looking very good right now to just stay in that 3rd place as long as I can. Now I've actually saved up a little bit of ERS on the start of lap 23 and thought about going for a little surprise move on DJ Gill myself to promote myself into 2nd, but I can't make that work. Pease goes defensive himself. They break really early, actually run into the back of DJ Gill a little bit. And right there, actually also get a hit from Robbie behind. Which, I mean, it didn't cost me any time, but you can see these guys aren't really doing their maximum pace. DJ Gill was probably just speculating on that last lap, wanting to make that move as late as possible to ensure himself over thread. That was actually not ideal right there. We got some rear locking. It definitely started intensifying with the aging medium tires. As Boompier sets the fastest lap, he's been to the pit lane in between. And now lap 23 onto the 2nd DRS straight. We have a pretty big gap actually to DJ Gill, but Robbie behind, who now has the 3-second penalty, crucially, is really close to the back of our McLaren. However, into Ascari again, he can't make the move, although he does make contact again with us. And I get a really poor run through Ascari. And now the gap to DJ Gill is over 9/10. We have to deploy all the battery you've got again to stay with the Mercedes. However, it does work out in the end. Robbie's only a 10th behind me though, so I'm going to have to look out for an attack into turn 1. Slipstream is not going to be very effective for me right now because I'm 7/10 back from DJ Gill. However, I did stay in that DRS crucially, so the threat from Robbie is not going to be that big. We've got also J. Cole behind as well in the Haas for XL, but he can't make anything work. We break quite late actually into turn 1, make the apex with ease, and we do stay in 3rd place with just 4 laps remaining in this Italian Grand Prix. Relentless Peace is still leading the way here from DJ Gill as we jump 1 lap further and to the start of lap 26, still getting those good runs through Parabolica and staying on the backs. Robbie there gets a big slide on the exit, and that pretty much takes away that threat from me. And just for 1 more lap, it is going to be just a little bit calmer from behind us. Excel's Jayco actually goes for it into turn 1 as well. I'm really hoping at this point they're going to fight to gain me just as much time as possible and give me some breathing space behind, because I'm not exactly focusing to get the guys ahead. I'm not sure if I've got the pace for that, but all I'm focusing on is just keeping that DRS. Right now again it's actually getting really close here, 8/10 of a second from Peace to DJ Gill, who I've seen on the commentary stream actually saved up quite a fair bit of ERS for this last lap, which as you can see I haven't done, or more or less couldn't do. But crucially still we kept the DRS. And Excel's J. Cole, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have too much battery left himself, so we might just be safe on this straight from a threat of the Haas driver. And down into turn 1, Variante Rettifilio. It is looking pretty solid for me. First apex, second apex. It's a solid run. It's not the best exit though, so we're gonna have to use some battery. 9/10 is the gap to DJ Gill. It's gonna be crucial for us to get the DRS down into Ascari. And if we do, then that's pretty much going to save us from the threat of the Haas behind. But can we do it though? It's not the best run, it's definitely not the worst either though. But right now the gap is actually just over a second. But a good run here through the Lesmos could save us, and 0.917 we do actually get the DRS. And I think that might just save us and could just see us through into P3 in the end. Relentless Peas and DJ Gill are still going for it here. You can see that by the gap, because I would have dropped out of the DRS now. However, it is the last lap of the Grand Prix, so I don't think it's going to come into effect that much. Relentless Peas and DJ Gill are really going for it now. Peas is definitely low on battery because DJ Gill goes to the outside of Parabolica. Can he make that one work? For now though, these two are going side by side and just pounding it out for the win. And Relentless Peas is just going to hold on by the skin of his teeth from DJ Gill while I finish the race in third and pick up my first podium for the NLR team. And I was actually delighted with that. After the disappointment that Australia was last week, to be on the podium now just a week later is fantastic. I couldn't really have expected anything better from this, because the pace wasn't too great either. So here you have the podium then. Relentless Peas wins in the Williams. You have DJ Gill in second for Avora, who's actually won the first race as well. So really good job from him. And then it's myself in third. For the first time I'm on the podium in NLR. And with those champagne spray images, we'll leave you to the final results, which are as follows. We have Peas in first, DJ Gill in second, myself in third. Roswell gets fifth in the end, so still a solid result for NLR, I would say. And I think with that, I'm going to leave you with the video right now and say thank you for watching. It's been a great one to be back here, and I shall see you next time.